Thank you for joining Paper Crafting with Tracey. Today I'm going to show you this stamp set from the new catalog, Layers of Beauty. This stamp set is similar to one we had before, Enduring with Beauty, which I did a couple videos on. And it has these masks here that are all numbered. This one has 5 of them. That will provide all the coloring and shading in here. There is also a set of coordinating dies that will cut all this out. So this was the card I made, and we're going to do a similar one, except I'm going to do it in blues, just to do a different color. So we're going to start off with a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to take the stamp, and it is a fairly large stamp, so you have to use your largest block. And in order to ink up one of your largest blocks, you need to stamp or ink this way. That way you can make sure you got good cover all over. Okay, there we go. And now you're just going to position it how you want. It may overhang, that's okay. So I want to make sure I leave room for my sentiment. So I will come down about like so. There we go. So we'll put those aside, and now we're going to start coloring. So the first mask is this one here. So you're just going to kind of position it. As you can see, it's for the flowers. Like so. And I always start the lightest first because that is the biggest area. And if you put the dark there, then the layering isn't going to show. And I've got my blending brushes. And these masks are really easy to clean afterwards. I just ran them under some warm water, and it just washed away. I don't think it's showing so much on the camera, but there is a color that's coming out. Okay, I'm just using Balmy Blue because, like I said, I wanted it fairly light. You can always add more, but you can never take away. That's when you have to flip your paper. Okay, and I know many people have commented about how they use like washi tape or something to tape these down. Okay, and that's a great idea too. Okay, I usually don't have an issue with it staying put. There we go. So you can see some shading in there. So we'll put that aside and we'll get the next one. And I'm going to use Azure Afternoon for this one. Okay, and you'll notice a little notch up here with the number. That tells you which direction they all go in. Because this one's just a little bit harder to line up. So I found it easier if you go with the smaller ones. That helps you more. Especially where I off-centered. There we go. Now remember, these are much darker, so just adding some layering in here. And that's probably, let's see, I missed one there. There you go. You can see how that layered up nicely. So we'll get the next one, and I'm going to use Night of Navy for this one. Or sorry, Misty Moonlight. So the next mask, again, my point up there. And this is for the centers. You can see that's how I figured out how to line them up when I was figuring these out. Line up the centers on these two here, and then again on these smaller ones here. And then because it's just to add some shading to some of the other ones. There we go. And now you can see how you've got kind of that double shadow effect in there. Okay, now we're going to work on the leaves. So I'm going to do Granny Apple Green. So I'll just line them up. Again, I find it easier to line up the smaller ones first in the two corners. Oops, let's get the ink off my fingers there before I spread that all over everything. There we go. There, you can see that has some coloring there. And the final one is just to add some accent to the leaves. So I'm using Old Olive. And I didn't clean these ones because I knew I was using the same one. That's why you'll see some remnants there of before. Okay, that looks all lined up there. There's some little tiny ones up in here too, so just to make sure you don't miss those. There we go. Pick that up. There we go. And there's all the coloring done. I think this is just a nice, easy way of doing some various colors on a stamp. So if you can see all that. So I'm going to, before I put everything away, I'm going to put my sentiment on there. I'm going to do a happy anniversary again. Perhaps give this to my husband or something like that as our anniversary's coming up. He loves gardening. There we go. Now, before I put everything away, I'm going to get my inside of the card, and I'm just going to, I'll put this ink away because I only need the gray. And there's a little tiny flower. I don't know if you can see that. You'll see it once I stamp it. I'm going to put that on the inside. And I can't use the Decorative Masks for it, so I'm going to use my blending brushes just to color that. So that's the end of the ink pads. I'll just quickly get my blending brush here. And this is just a quick, simple way of coloring some of this in, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I will get, I'll get Balmy Blue here. And I'll use the light Balmy Blue for the petals. Okay, and I'm finding now that I've done that, the dark and the light didn't really have too much difference. So I think I will get Azure Afternoon. Give it just a bit more. That's better. And there we go. So now we'll just assemble our card. So I've got some old olive matting. I'll just get my tape here and we will attach all of this. So on my previous videos, you will have seen where I did some embossing powder with the Enduring Beauty stamp set. And you could do the same thing with this one, which I might do one for another video. And then I just have basic white thick cardstock for my base. So if you haven't already done it, I do invite you to subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date. I do work full-time as a nurse practitioner, so this is my mental health break when I'm not at work. Though this time of year, when the weather's nice, I do tend to go outside quite a bit. But I am still doing this on a regular basis. There we go. So there we have 2 cards made using the Layers of Beauty stamp set. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Paper Crafting with Tracey. Please subscribe to the channel and happy stamping.